Hello, folks. I am Ken Briota, Editorial Director for IoT Evolution World, and we are here at IoT Evolution Expo at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. We're talking about all the tech that is affecting the IoT, building the IoT, and making it the industry that we all know it's going to grow up to be. I'm here with Diego from Morey, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what they've been working on in the IoT.
So the Morey Corporation is unique in the IoT space because we're not only a designer of IoT-type hardware, the hardware at the endpoints, the hardware that collects data and transmits it over the air. Not only do we design, but we also manufacture that type of hardware in the U.S. So we're kind of a one-stop shop from a hardware design, manufacturing, fulfillment perspective. So we provide a unique service to our customers there. And our customers are generally anything from, Fortune 500 enterprises that have unique needs for hardware as well as smaller companies that can benefit from our value prop.
One interesting sort of hardware-related and larger telematics-related issue that everybody's talking about right now is obviously vehicle telematics. We all know the story that got broken and wired and dealt with at Black Hat about the Jeep Cherokee hack, which is terrifying to everyone, of course. I'm hoping you can talk a little bit about how that happened and what some of the approaches can be to avoid that sort of problem.
Sure. In terms of why that's possible is because a lot of the vehicular telematics devices out there today, the units that go in vehicles, either at the vehicle factories or aftermarket, they connect directly to vehicle diagnostic bus, that bus that your mechanic connects into when they want to service your vehicle. So that means that that's a single entry point to all of the computer systems in the vehicle. And those, you can think of those computer systems as a small network, a small local area network. And so therefore, when you can kind of get into one of those, you have access to potentially the rest of that architecture, that whole network. And so from a security perspective, you have to kind of think about the entry point and how you protect it. It's the concept is that somebody over the air, over the cellular waves or something like that would be able to come in, run somehow hijack one of those microprocessors, run some malignant code in there and try to do some damage. So therefore, you have to think about that entry point, and how you protect that vehicle communication stream, that data communication stream over the air, and how do you verify that really it's coming from the person that you intended to come? So at Morey, we're investigating a lot of different strategies to make that entry point as secure as possible, because that is kind of the single entry point. If somebody wants to hack into your vehicle, they either have to touch it, which is kind of hard, right? Because it's locked up and it's in your garage or whatever. But the other entry point is that cellular connection. And so we're doing a lot of work in order to validate that connection is well sealed, and that only the data stream that's been verified and validated through a whole bunch of security measures is the only one that can actually access that point.
But that sort of doesn't get to one of the root issues that I've been talking about with folks, in that I think everybody sort of thinks that their entertainment system is not connected to their command and control systems, and it clearly is. Is it short-sighted to say that shouldn't be a connection, that should be, firewalled, or is it really enough to trust the entry point being secure?
No, you bring up a good point. We all, even though it's your infotainment system, if there is for example, a low tire pressure warning, and you happen to be, you want that notification to come up in a way that you can process it and you can see it. So you do want those systems to be connected, properly firewalled, as you said, but you want the driver to have information that's safety and security information related. If your kid doesn't have in the backseat doesn't have his seatbelt on or something like that, you may want to know that, right? And your infotainment is going to connect that. So there's a logical reason why you need to connect those systems. There is firewalls already. Part of the issue is that all these microprocessors inside vehicles, their processing power kind of is tiny. It pales in comparison to even, our iPads or our laptops or something like that. So whenever you have an aggressive, entity with lots of processing power, it's possible to hack those connections, those entry points, just because there's from a security standpoint, you have a limit to what you can do, and so therefore that's why we kind of take the path of protecting that entry point, because you're always going to have a big computer somewhere that can crunch and try to break into these smaller computers that just don't have, because of cost issues, just don't have the processing power.
So what you're basically saying is that my uncle is been holding on to his AC Gremlin since 1974, was really ahead of the curve.
Can never be hacked.
That's right. Thank you very much, Diego. Really appreciate the time. Folks, I am Ken Briota, Editorial Director of IoT Evolution World, and you can get a hold of me at Ken Briota on Twitter or at IoT Evolution. Diego, where can folks find you online?
So the Morey Corporation, moreycorp.com, that's where they can find everything that we do.
All right. Thanks very much. We appreciate it. We'll catch you next time, folks.